What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. This is your boy Narik Chase, and in this video we're doing another head-to-head, and this is episode 4, and we're going to be talking about something I've been wanting to talk about for a while now, but I haven't had anybody to talk about it with because nobody's played Far Cry, and Zach is late, so Zach's not going to come by because he kind of a little bit more familiar with Far Cry than most people that I know, but it doesn't really matter because he's not here. But anyways, big old beard. This video is going to be another edition of Head to Head. Again, episode 4. We're going to be talking about 3 of the Far Cry villains. I'm going to be comparing Vaas Montenegro, Pagan Min, and Joseph C. Now, for those who haven't played any of the Far Cry games, Far Cry is basically a game where you end up playing as a character that gets caught up in some kind of conflict between somebody that's, I guess you could say, of somebody that's bad with a high position, and you end up basically teaming up with the rebels to overthrow them. In Far Cry 3, it was on this island, and you had to deal with these pirates and drug trafficking and slave trafficking and those and that. And then in Far Cry 4, you had to deal with this dynasty led by this dictator. And then also in Far Cry 5, you had to deal with this cult that was taken up, that was over control of this region. So each one of them, there are similarities, but overall they do have different things. But the most important, a lot of the most important aspects of the Far Cry games are actually the villains, the bad guys who you are actually dealing with. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the bad guys. Now, Vaas Montenegro is the secondary villain from Far Cry 3. He is a leader of this group of pirates that are kidnapping people and selling them off to slavery, that are just murdering people. And of Far Cry 3, Vaas, in most, even like top 10 lists and things like that, you will see Vaas is most likely going to be on those lists. Why? Because he's one of those interesting characters that's up there with like the Joker, like Handsome Jack. He's just this really psychotic, crazy, just over the top bad guy, but he has personality. He can actually say some pretty humorous things at moments, say some pretty deep things too, and the way his interactions with the player go. And one of the most interesting aspects about the character, of course, is that he has a sister. He's grown up on the island. He's from there, and he just basically just ends up joining this one bad guy after being kind of a bad guy, and he just has a really good personality, and you like him because of how he reacts with players. He has one of the most memorable sequences in video game history, where he's talking about what the definition of insanity is, and that moment is gold. Would love to play it for you, but again, YouTube are fucking idiots when it comes to the copyright thing. So even though I'm just using this to help with the video and I'm not showing the whole damn thing, it could potentially get flagged down or copyrighted. But he has this really great moment where he is talking about the definition of insanity. He was a great, interesting character. Now we have Pagan Min. I like Pagan Min because he's this dictator of this area called Kyrat. Kyrat. I can't remember how to say it, but the guy is just weird. It's because he's so eccentric. Yes, he is a killer, and he does not give a damn about human life in like the slightest. You even see that when you first meet his character, because when you first meet the guy, his soldiers end up shooting up this bus that you're on, and the captain of that group of soldiers that did that, he ends up stabbing the shit out this guy, just putting down on this dude because he said shoot. He said stop, not shoot. And I love the little dialogue. I said stop. He said, I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, stop, shoot, stop, shoot. Do those words sound the same? Like, I love that right there. But he's pretty different because he's eccentric. Even though he's causing death, even though he's causing destruction. And I love the relationship he does have with the main protagonist of the game, because he's not out to actually kill the guy. It seems like, because when you play in Far Cry 3, when you're dealing with Vaas, he's repeatedly trying to kill you. And this one, he's not trying to kill you so much as much as interesting. He even gives you a bit of advice. He even helps you out. He's an interesting character, and I love the relationship. I love that there is some kind of sentimental relationship between him and the main protagonist of the game. It kind of shows that there is something to his character, and I do like that about him. And I like that eccentric look. The man dresses up in these like extravagant looking suits and stuff. Got his hair cut. He looks like freaking almost like what's that freaking YouTuber name? I can't remember the freaking YouTuber name. I can't remember the guy's name for the life of me. But he always makes YouTube video games and stuff like that. Videos about video games and stuff like that. I'm looking up what his name is now because I do want to say it because I actually like watching this stuff. Markiplier. He reminds me of Markiplier. But anyways, he's a very interesting character too. And even I like the peaceful ending that you can have with that character. And then lastly, we have Joseph Seed, who is the main antagonist of Far Cry 5. He is the leader of this cult called the Gates of Eden, Golden Gates of Eden, something like that. And he's basically just his cult leader, and he's like wanting everybody that's not part of this cult to be a part of this cult. Even if he has to kill people, even if it's strong arm, even if he has to just do destructive stuff, he wants people to be. And I like his character. His character's a bit different because unlike Vaas, unlike Pagan Min, even though he is a killer, even though he can be completely destructive in his actions, there are moments where you see that he has much more deeper within his character. I like that even though he is a killer, he does show a lot of remorse, especially when, he has a family in the game. What was the girl's name? Faith, John, and Jacob, like those three. You see that there's a pretty interesting relationship between them. Even though he is the leader of this group, you can see that there is love and respect. And then you even kind of feel sorry for him when you actually kill off one of his siblings and he's really hurting from it. But like the other two, there are always these great moments that define his character that make him just fucking awesome. When you first meet this guy, he's in a church. You go to arrest him. He says, "God won't let you take me." And you arrest him. If you're going to do that, you arrest him and everything. But there's this moment when you take him to the helicopter crashes. He is staring at you. And I think you were calling it the operator, the police lady, operator, whatever it is. And he grabs it from you, and she's like, is everything okay? And then he's like, well, everything's fine. Then she's like, Father, and then all that stuff. And you like, and the way he looks, he just like stares at you because he's like, okay, there's nothing. I told you, I'm not going anywhere. And I just love that stare, that moment right there. And it was so confident. I was like, okay, this dude is freaking badass. Now, you don't get interactions like that with him in the game. You do have interactions with, but not like that. But when you do have those, he's actually not that bad towards you. Yes, he tries to kill you at certain points, but there are some interesting points where his character does feel much more deeper. Like I said, he actually cares about the people that you actually like, his people. When you kill him, he does show remorse towards that. But it's interesting because he does bring like this religious aspect to it, so he does try to forgive you. Hell, even in the beginning of the game, he gives you a chance to walk away. Hell, at the end of the game, he try to give you a chance to walk away. And even after all the stuff that you do, he still doesn't outright kill you in the story. So he's actually a pretty interesting bad guy, and I like that all these characters have interesting quirks about them. But I like that they can have these interesting, like, insightful moments about them with their dialogue with the characters, with the players. I really enjoy that. I like that they can even be charismatic. They're different ways. They have different ways about it, but they're very charismatic in their speech and stuff when they're talking. And I'm like, okay, these are really interesting characters. I like Vaas because he was just like a fucking loon. The dude just crazy. I like that about him. Pagan Min, I like that he was he was more, what's that word? I don't. It's like I forgot what the word is. It's usually what you call them people when they're weird, but they're not extravagant. Yeah, he has a very more extravagant flair about him. And then, like I say, I like the religious aspect to Joseph Seed's character. Now, in terms of the personalities, I'm not really sure which one I could really go off of as being better than the other ones because all of them have interesting strengths. All of them have interesting weaknesses that make me think like, okay, this is a pretty badass character. But I don't like not having that. So in terms of personality, what do I like about each one of these personalities? Like I said, I like the fact that Vaas is crazy, but he's interesting, and he can flip at moments. He's like there's moments where he's kind of goofy, but at the same time he can flip at switch and just get crazy. Even when he's torturing the actor. I forgot his name, Chris Mortz Place. That guy. When he's torturing him in the game, he actually kills him. You can see there's a bit of a remorse to him. So I think that's an interesting bit to him. Men, like I said, I like that he has this really interesting relationship with the main protagonist. Doesn't want to really kill the guy, and you can see that his mother does have that has this really interesting relationship with Pagan Min, which Min actually has with the main protagonist. But that shows you that his character, even though he is a dick, he's actually it's a little bit more behind him than that, and I like that. I really do like that because there's even a really meaningful set where he's like, okay, here if you stay here we can go, you know, go throw your mom ashes and just wait here for a second, and when I get back, we can go take care of your mom's ashes. Even at the end of the game, he gives you that opportunity. So I don't mind Pagan Min's personality as well. And like I said, I like Joseph Seed. Yes, he's crazy, he's a killer, but I like that he's one of those cult leaders that truly, and that's what makes him more distinct than the other two. He truly believes what this cult stuff, that he is like the chosen one, and I like that about him. And he even extends that to the people that he cares about, which are like his generals, the people that actually follow him. I think that's an interesting aspect to that character. But ultimately, I guess I would probably go with. I mean, I guess I'll go with in terms of personality, Pagan Min. I do like him, and one thing I like about him is I like characters that don't like. I like characters that break under stress when they're pissed off and stuff. But he's not really like that, and there are very few times you see him do that. I mean, all of them do it to a certain extent, but I really like him because he's like real chill. He's like if you go and you blow up his blockade or something, you'd be like, okay. Like I like that about Pagan Min. So in terms of personality, I actually like Pagan Min, and then it'll probably be. It's kind of hard. It's really hard to when it comes to the personalities. But Pagan Min, I guess I'll put him out there. Now, in terms of the actual story of the characters, I kind of like Joseph Seeds more because Vaas is just a brutal, violent guy. He just want to just be an asshole, just to be an asshole. I like men just a dick to all these people, and it's basically power move. But Joseph Seed truly believes, has to really believe. So I enjoy story. When I mean story, like backstory and everything, how Joseph got to this point where he was in foster homes. He had this thing called The Voice. I read all this on the internet, of course. So so he had this voice. He ended up bringing his family together, and they created this cult. He had a wife. Wife ended up dying. Like the tragedy that is surrounded his family that bolstered this voice thing. Even like his belief, not in just the cult, but to liberate to save humanity from this doomsday that he has seen this. So I would say I like his story better than Min was end up taking over Kyrat and just digging a lot of people over. but his story with the main guy's mom does put a bit more complexity to his actual story. And again, that complexity actually kind of goes into the game where you're actually trying to actually when you're getting to know this guy because he's showing so much leniency to you. So I like his story. And Vaas basically was just this good boy, basically gone bad. Started taking drugs, started hanging with the wrong crowd. That's basically his thing. So I think out of all of them, I will say I really appreciate Joseph Seeds more. I like his story more. I think he has a more interesting story. Now, in terms of the actual interactions, I would say Vaas. Vaas has the most memorable interactions than anybody else. The dude comes off as just fucking retarded. He's enjoyable. Even when you see the little skits that they had when they were promoting Far Cry 3, dude was stellar up in that. And I like the moments where you're talking, and again, one of the best, most memorable interactions are in fact, when you first meet this guy. He had a really cool interaction when he kills your brother, when he ends up kidnapping your girlfriend, when you actually get down to the final battle with them. Like, I really enjoyed the interactions. So I think Vaas actually has the best ones. Yes, I love the ones with Joseph. I thought he had, but they were few and far between. And I like the one with Pagan Min, but it seemed like the same thing as well. And hell, interactions with Vaas was better than what they were with Hoyt. So Vaas definitely takes the interactions. Now, in terms of actual, I want to say, I don't really know what to say. I would say, like, boss battle, but then I have to write off Min because you didn't really have to fight him. You could just kill him if you wanted to, but you don't really have to fight him. The actual boss battle, that I thought was actually pretty memorable. I like the one with Vaas, but it was like a acid trip, so I didn't care too much for that. Joseph Seed, I liked his because when you go to fight Joseph Seed, you have to fight his bad guys. You gotta follow the people. You have to fight the people that follow you, and fight your friends. Then you go fight him. So I got to say, final battle. I will give it to Joseph Seed. Now, if you want to, I'm not doing the games per se. I'm really not. I'm really not. But so that's basically just it. Though when I'm talking about these three characters, I think that these characters are really memorable. I found them very enjoyable. I really appreciated the stories. And then, of course, Vaas has that fine ass sister, Citra. Girl, but banging, she was bad, man. Really enjoyed looking at her. But just don't join her because you get stabbed in the chest. She fine though. Damn, that girl was fine. But sitting here harping up on the game character. But I think like with my video game villains list, I think it was like maybe like 50 of the most awesome video game villains. These three definitely make that list. But I really enjoyed all of them. Now, between the four categories that I did come up with this whole damn day, and I can only think of four, I could actually say that Joseph Joseph is my favorite one. And if I had to go down, Joseph would be my favorite one. Min would actually be my second, and then Vaas would actually be the third. I really enjoyed these three characters. I thought they were really interesting. They brought something new to it. Far Cry 2 is supposed to be dropping next month for the free game. I would definitely like to go ahead and play that one so I can get the bad guy on that one. Far Cry 1, whenever I get a chance, I could do that one too. And I still need to beat the Blood Dragon so I can see who the hell the bad guy is on that one. But I'm also probably gonna do a video on the Seed family as well, like with the brother with Faith and Jacob and John. So y'all prepare for that too, and I try to do a better job for it. But I've done all the talking that I'm going to do about this video. You've heard mine. I like, of all three of them, I do like Joseph Seed the most. And another thing that is like kind of scary, because I stay in America, I would probably run into a Joseph Seed more than I would some island where I met Vaas, or some Asian country where you meet Pagan Min. So that's another thing that makes the threat of his character actually feel like realistic, because he can potentially be somebody I can like meet down in where I stay at, because you do have crazy folks out here. But anyways, guys, in the comment section below, let me know which one of these three characters is your actual favorite character, and also, in fact, just go ahead and number them on down. Like I said, mine is Joseph, mine's Pagan, and then the last one is Vaas. Let me know, rank them, tell me which one's your favorite, tell me which one your least favorite, give me the reasons why, and also be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on this channel, and hit that notification button, because that's the only way you're going to know what we got going on in this freaking channel. But anyways, I do upload every week now, so it's not just on Thursdays, and each day there's something different. So take what you can from this, guys, and share it with your friends, and we'll catch you guys later in the next video. Peace out.